My name's Jamie, and I'm here to help you realize your potential if you decided to put your mind to it. Today's video is on how have I ended up here. Now, if you told me 7 years ago that I would be sitting here recording these videos, I would have laughed. I was that skinny kid in the gym who didn't have a clue. I was that skinny kid who didn't enter the weights area. I sat on the treadmills, I sat on the cable machines, and I didn't see results for a very long time. However, through the last 7 years, which is hard to even comprehend, I've went through running a business, an online business, an in-person business, getting my coaching qualifications, and 7 years of training throughout that while competing in multiple countries. It's mad to say. It is mad to say. It's even mad to think about right now. Now, when I first started, what I want you to think is the reason why. And what is your reason why, right? It's not to build muscle and lose body fat. What is your reason why? For me, it came from a place of being very unconfident in myself. It came from a place of getting bullied. And it came from a place of feeling intimidated all the time. It's probably the best way to put it. It came from a place of just thinking that I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't stand up for myself, even in a verbal sense. And I just was sick of it. And I decided to go to the gym. And that spiraled. And it led me here. Now, through that time, I was training and I wasn't seeing a lot from it, but I just kept going because I was loving the feeling that it actually gave me. And I can remember back to the gym that I was in. I was in the Commonwealth in Edinburgh at the time, and I was probably doing everything extremely wrong, but I was loving the process. And that is what it counts, you know what I mean? You have to love the process to actually get somewhere. However, fast forward a few years of fucking about in the gym, I then sort of got to the age. And I started when I was 15, 16. And that got me up to the age where I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And honestly, I could not tell you. I was in a split and I was at uni and I also knew I wanted to do personal training. And I just couldn't really decide what route to take. And I went down the uni route and dropped out very, very quickly and decided to pursue personal training instead. And that has led me down a whirlwind that I couldn't have even imagined. And I initially started as an in-person PT, which I think everyone should. If you are considering going into the personal training industry, watching this, if you are considering my journey, know that I have coached over 150 people on an in-person basis, on an in-person one-to-one basis for months on end. And that should put some trust in me as a coach. However, it did not start there. It started in lockdown, in a park, with some suitcases and some kettlebells. And to all the clients watching this, like who knew me doing that and who was a client in that time, thank you for coming to those sessions. And it led me here. And I was that excited to get started in the industry. I just done it. I had no idea what I was doing. I had like no real equipment, no real structure, but I just went to the park and I done it. And I think the sessions were £13 an hour. Like, not like a professional wage at all. But to be fair, I was 18 at the time, so you know what, it was actually decent. So yeah, and that led me down that route. And I said to myself, right, and I said to my mum actually, and I was like, if I can do this, right, if I can stick this out in February with a suitcase in the piss and rain, then surely something decent will come from it. You know what I mean? Because I don't see anyone else doing it. Like the easiest way to put it. I don't see anyone else actually trying and doing this that I'm doing right now. So yeah, and I was like, just keep going, keep going. And then I got a job in a private gym. And that was an unbelievable experience. That was a game-changing experience for me. And I'm going to touch back on the private element in a second, but I then went from having 10, 12 clients at the time, all outdoors, to being thrusted into the gym space. And I was like, right, cool, fantastic. I'm now around other fitness professionals who I can learn from. And I learned an unbelievable amount about coaching and about working with people, because that's what this is. It's not being a drill sergeant and throwing calories, macros, and a training plan at you. It's about working with people and understanding people. And that element of it, I only learned from being there. Now, I was at that gym project for just over 3 years. And around that. And as I say, it was an absolutely incredible experience. Worked with over 150 clients in that time and learned an incredible amount about the industry. And through that time, As I've said, it was a private gym, and I can only connect these dots backwards now. That I knew in my heart of hearts that I did not want to get a job in a pure gym, the gym, David Lloyd, Bannatyne, you name it. I did not want to work there for many reasons, but mainly the business logistical side of it, that you either have to work for them or you have to pay a stupid amount of rent, and I didn't want to do either, and I knew I wanted to do my own thing, and project came up and it was just perfect. So we went there, and as a result, I had to gain my clients through social media. That was the only way that I would get clients and learn how to PT and learn how to coach, was through social media. And what I do now, I'm fully online, which is all social media. So it's only now that I can connect those things back, that I had to learn how to use social media well, and I had to learn how to build relationships with people on a digital basis in order to get clients. And then that went from in person to online. So it's mad when you connect those back. And I didn't see that at the time. I just seen it as working in a private gym, and I used to almost think of it in, like, in some ways a bit annoying, because you don't have a foot full of people and all that, and through that time, yeah. But I wouldn't change it for the world. So throughout that time of getting to there and working in the private gym, I also done a lot of fitness competitions. Probably too many, to be honest. Done a lot of small private fitness competitions that are just nothing to really comment on, but just small private ones in gyms on a Sunday afternoon that are great fun, but nothing like that you would know of and hear of. And then Hyrox, and I've done many, many Hyroxes. And I've obviously been training for 7 years, right? I've tried many styles of training. And then Hyrox came about, and I've now done 6 in 4 different countries, which is very cool. And throughout the time working in the private gym is when I really got into it. And it felt like an athlete. It was cool. You know what I mean? You're flying to different places, you're competing in this proper competition, you're competing against other people. And that was a massive thing for me, because I went from, like, being this really skinny, shy kid to gaining muscle, gaining strength, right? Fantastic. And then it was like, right, I've completed my first phase, essentially, and I've went through all that, and I'm at a stage where I'm happy with my physique. I don't really want to get much bigger. I don't want to get much leaner, so I'm happy where I am. And then I started doing this competition side of it, and I'm competing, and I'm just loving the process of that. And that went on and went on, and I've done many different Hyrox events, and as I say, I've done them in 4 countries: Barcelona, Dublin, Netherlands, and Rotterdam, and then in Scotland as well. I've done 2 in Glasgow, and I've done 2 in Rotterdam. I think that's right. And then I've got 1 later in the year as well in Milan, which will be good fun. But yeah, that was a bit of a turning point for my training, because it took a step up, and it very important for that. However, digress from the training, and then I can definitively tell you where I was when the idea of Transform 180 came about. I can take you back to that moment. I was standing outside the park, outside Project, and I was on the phone, or I was voice noting my mate Fivey, and we were speaking about this. And I was like, mate, I've got this idea, right? Not just an in-person PT who does PT sessions and batters you for an hour, and you leave and you're sore for 5 days, right? And you come back, right? It's not that. It's a coaching program for young men who want to turn this shit around, and it's all online. And we don't just focus on a gym plan, and I don't just tell you what to eat. We build strategies for you. We actually coach you. We ask you questions, and we give you the skill set through these questions to make the changes for yourself. And then we are there to hold you accountable to that. And then obviously we're there to provide the nutritional and the training education on top of that. And that was well over a year ago. That was maybe 18 months ago from now. And it's now 18 months later that I can speak about it and record it, because I've now brought over 100 guys through the process, which is insane. And Transform 180 was born. And then I got to the stage where, and Transform 180 was born while I was still in Project. It was still working as a one-to-one PT. And at the end of 2023, give or take, towards the start of 2024, in that time period, I got really busy with Transform 180 online. And it got to a stage where I was in the gym for 5 a.m. pretty much every day. And I was in the gym till about 12 between 12 and 3, depending on the day. And then the rest of the day was my own training and then all my online work and all my online clients. And I just got to the stage where I was like, I can't do this. Like to this day, there's no longevity in doing this. I cannot keep like working these insane days and up at 4 a.m. It's just not going to work. So what are we going to do? And I just decided to go fully online and just make this huge step. And it's not that I didn't enjoy doing one-to-one. I love doing my time of one-to-one, and it was a necessary stage. But I got to the stage where I knew that online had more impact and my online clients were getting better results. So I decided to just pursue it and just see what would come of it. And I'm very glad I did, because the results we've produced are insane. Genuinely some of the best results you will see about. And the testimonials we have, and just everything that goes into it, that I know that only came from taking that big step. And that was scary. That honestly was scary, going from having an in-person business which is based on relationships with your clients, that is then flipped on its head to digital skill set, because that's what this is in a way. It's like, how do we like build relationships online? And that is like a huge difference. It's not what you're doing in person, you know what I mean? And it's like a new skill set, and I had to learn that. And at first, I was in the stage where I didn't know if I wanted to do it, and I was like, this is so different, and it was outside my comfort zone. And only now I can say that we have an incredible team of clients, and we have incredible results coming through, and incredible results that have been and gone, and incredible testimonials to show for it. That only came from taking that risk. And to me, I was like, what have I got to lose? Like, if this all fell on its arse, I could just go back and do one-to-one PT. You know what I mean? Not in like it's taking a back step, but if online didn't work, I'll just go back to one-to-one. Fantastic. You know what I mean? But I was like, let's just give it a shot. What have I actually got to lose? You know what I mean? And as a result, like, as I say, I'm very, very glad I did. I've sacrificed a lot to get here. And on the outside, you might see an Instagram page. You might see followers, posts, and a bio and client results. But what you haven't seen is what's behind that, and the sacrifices that I've made in my life. And like, it really genuinely comes down to when I was like leaving that I was at that stage where I was like, am I going to leave uni, or am I going to go down the PT route? And I can now look back on it and be like, I remember I was like, should I, if I'm going to take this seriously and I'm going to run a business at 18, I'm going to run a business at 18, and I'm going to behave in the way that a business owner would. And that's what I've done. And I've got myself to that position. And as a result, I've not had a social life, really. And people will know that around me. And I've lost friends because of it. And I've not done that side of life. I've never went on like, lads' holidays. I've never done all that shit. And not that it's bad in any way, but like, I've just not done it. And to me, it was like, I have to act my way into this life, and I have to act my way as someone you would want to be coached by. So I've had to make those sacrifices, and I don't regret anything. It's just, what one were you willing to make? Because I wasn't willing to sacrifice the business and sacrifice the impact I know I could have on people for me to go out and have social life. And social life, obviously, in different ways. Like, the way I'm describing it is what young guys do and go out and get steaming all weekend, right, and do whatever, take stuff like that. I've never ever done that, and it's something I've just had to sacrifice. But to me, like, throughout this whole process, I've always wanted to build a life on my terms, and that is, you know what I mean, deeper than having the impact on people, right? That I know I've always wanted to live my life on my terms. So, and I put out a video on this recently, and I'm shit at being told what to do. And in some ways, I will end up having a shit work ethic if people are telling me what to do. When I have full freedom and full control over what I want to do, I know the impact I can have and the impact we have on people, and it shows through what we do. And I just know that I would, in a way, be letting myself down, that if I didn't choose to pursue this and help people, because I know I can do it. And it's why, like, we've ended here. But yeah, that is essentially an overview of my story, of how I've got here from when I was 15, that skinny kid in the gym who didn't have a clue what to do. And then over the last 7 years, got qualified as a PT, I decided to leave uni and go straight into PT. Got a job in a private gym, went through that, and it was incredible. And then decided to launch the idea of Transforming 80. It was built. I stuck it out even when it was really difficult. I've competed all over, and it's led me to this incredible position. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to the next video.